Covering the community, events, and people of Georgia, Carolina. This is the Means Report. Here is Brad Means.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Means Report. So glad that you're taking time to join us on this Sunday, and to our master's guests who at this point are probably just starting to trickle in, a special welcome to all of you as we get set for an exciting week here in the Georgia, Carolina area. We call it the CSRA. That means Central Savannah River area, and we hope that you have a wonderful time here. We really are glad to have you. It's a big week for sure. It's also a big month during April. It's Autism Awareness Month, and we're going to talk to a very special guest about autism awareness and her first-hand experience with the disorder and how she has not only helped her granddaughter, but so many others navigate the waters that come with this diagnosis and the lifetime that follows it. Also ahead, we're going to talk to a representative of Augusta's Technical Career Magnet School. Hard to believe that thing is up and running. It is a show place, and it's going to produce a lot of our future leaders. We're going to find out how when the principal joins us in just a few minutes. And of course, we'll conclude with our question of the week, which we call, what does it mean to you? And we'll share some responses from last week's question of the week. But first, as promised, autism awareness, honoring the month of April all month long here on News Channel 6. And we're doing it today by way of an interview with Penny Hunt. Penny is a noted speaker and author, and most importantly, really, Edgefield Countian. And I'm glad you're here. How are things in Trenton?
They are pink everywhere.
Really? Just everything's popping?
Everything is popping. It's beautiful. It really is. It's really something to see, and we're looking forward to all those peaches too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can't wait for the peaches,
yeah.
And we always look forward to that time of year, and certainly give our best to everyone there.
Yeah.
Penny, autism awareness, I know it's a passion of yours, and for good reason,
yes.
Because of Millie. Just by way of background, tell the viewers how you came to find out that your beautiful granddaughter Millie had autism.
Well, one of the key things in discovering autism is early intervention. Getting your diagnosis is done early, and thankfully my daughter was able to do that. But the first indication was that we thought she couldn't hear well because she wasn't responding the way that children her age normally do. And so after a series of tests, that diagnosis was finally made. And then as Millie aged, we realized that the autism was very severe.
Yeah.
So it began though with just a lack of what we thought was hearing.
I'm not sure I fully understand the spectrum, but would it be appropriate to say that she was on the high end of that spectrum?
That's very true, Brad. One of the things that's just so very difficult with the spectrum is that you can have a very high functioning child with autism and a very low functioning child with autism, and the spectrum is very broad, and that's why they say that there are 1 in every 88 children that are affected by autism.
There's an example that illustrates the word severe. Some people may hear that your granddaughter is severely autistic and may just brush right past that, but tell me about the hair washing and what an ordeal that was to illustrate what we are dealing with here.
Yeah, one of the things that just absolutely terrified Millie was running water, and that seems to be something that is rather common.
Yeah.
And so when we would wash her hair, it was like preparing an operating room. We'd have to get the bathroom all clean, get all of the things that we're going to use to wash her hair, the shampoo and the conditioner and everything, and then get the tub lined with mats because she would flail and we didn't want her to hurt herself.
Yeah.
And then the hose had to be attached to the faucet so that we could do, and then it sounded like we were skinning her alive.
People would call the police.
Yeah, they would. They would hear her screaming, and until the neighbors understood what was going on. You know, Brad, there's another thing I talk about, a story with Millie that is kind of, I think, interesting and amusing. I was watching her, and we were folding clothes, and her older sister was with me, and suddenly Millie wasn't in the room, and she was also what's known as an eloper, and so that means that she would run off. Well, it was winter, and she was wearing at the time a little Barbie peignoir that had the marabou sleeves on it, and her underpants.
Half naked.
Half naked, that's it, okay? And we just turned the heat up and let her wear it because that's what she liked to wear.
She's inside,
she's
fine.
Inside. She liked it, it was fine, it was peace, good, we're going with that. And sure enough, she ran out into the snow. I was up in Wyoming at the time where she was living. She ran out into the snow, and I was just, panic-stricken up and down the street, Millie, Millie. And this very, very self-righteous neighbor opens the door and says, "Are you looking for a little girl, barefoot, in pajamas. I said, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
me. That's
Help
gonna
us.
help me. So I went in, and the other thing that Millie did was she would pet animals very, very firmly. Do you remember the story about, can't remember the title now, but anyway, Lenny, who would pet mice.
Okay, yes,
yeah,
it brings
what's that? Anyway.
Of Mice and Men?
Of Mice and Men, maybe, yeah.
Maybe. That
Yeah.
was Marlena's guess if it's wrong.
It's right.
Marlena,
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry, that could be right.
It could be right. And so.
So yeah, no, was it? Yeah, I think
yeah.
she's right.
I think she is.
Anyway, so she pet the
she would
animals
pet,
firmly.
very firmly, and then they would, not enjoy that, and so they would do something to get away from her, scratch, bite, whatever. Well, these neighbors had a cat, and Millie was with them and petting their cat. So I knew I had about maybe, 5 minutes max before things were going to really escalate and get out of control. And Millie was nonverbal at the time, and so I said, I'm so sorry, Millie is autistic and she's nonverbal and she's an eloper, and thank you so much, for bringing her in. Well, she's nonverbal, but she's echolaic, which means that she can repeat what she hears, like an echo. And one of the things that she loved to do was watch a little DVD, a little, comic or whatever, and repeat it over and over again until she learned the words. So I just explained that she was nonverbal and we were going to leave now. And I said, Millie, come on, you need to come with me. To which she turns around, points at me and says, "Gods sees that despicable creature." I just grabbed her and ran.
What's that word? Echolaic.
Echolaic. And so, yeah, you have to roll with these things. You have to be able to laugh. But the big thing that you have to be able to do is be an advocate for these children.
Boy, and have you ever. I really just admire that about you. You've not only been a loving grandmother and mother, but you've also done your part to let the world know about autism.
Yes.
I want to talk about your book, Little White Squirrel's Secret.
Yeah.
And as we do, let me ask you how Millie's peers treated her when she was coming up.
At first, it wasn't very pretty. You're in a regular school system, and this, of course, was now 19 years ago. Millie is now 19. Things have changed so much, Brad. There are so many wonderful curriculums and systems in place for people to plug into. You've got to dig for them, though. You've got to scratch for them. But yeah, they made fun of her, and
Just openly made fun of her.
And her siblings too, because you have a sister who's so different, and that was just part of it, and that was hurtful. That hurt, and that's part of what I wrote about in this book, my Little White Squirrel's Secret book. Should I hold it up?
Yeah, you should hold it up.
Should I hold it up for everybody to see?
We don't see many white squirrels. They're uncommon.
They are uncommon, and that's why I chose this white squirrel. I was up in Brevard in North Carolina, which is the home of the white squirrel. We're looking for white squirrels, didn't see any, but I did see a little gray squirrel try to jump from one limb to the other, and he fell. And I'd never seen a squirrel fall. They're kind of the gymnasts of the forest, and so I was just, he fell. And then it just occurred to me, oh wow, if he was a white squirrel, everybody would notice. And then because I write children's books, I thought like a child and thought, and everybody would laugh, and that's where the idea came from. And then how would a little white squirrel that stands out, that's different, if he were challenged on top of that, find a way to fit in with all the other forest creatures? And so I thought about my daughter, who is just a wonderful advocate. Her mantra is, no is not an acceptable answer.
I love
She
it.
just keeps going for what's available and finding it and making sure that that's appropriate for her daughter and that she gets that. And so I turned her into the father of this little white squirrel, who takes him to a special place to practice, and that's in the boughs of a blooming white dogwood tree, where in the camouflage he's able to learn how to jump. And then after the leaves turn green, the blossoms fall, you have to return to the forest, and he does, and there he's able to jump. He's never super squirrel.
And never stands out as being abnormal.
No.
I love that you also are an advocate for wounded warriors' spouses,
Yes.
these people who are often forgotten,
Yes.
and because the attention is on the soldier, him or herself. And we were talking before the broadcast about autism statistics and the fact that 1 in every 88 is diagnosed with autism.
That's right, Brad.
You saw a statistic that blew that away.
I really couldn't believe it. I was just at a retreat down in Palm Key for the wives of wounded warriors. There were 25 women that were there, and during my session with them, I asked the question if anyone here had been touched by autism, and 3 hands went up.
3 in a room of 25.
25 women, 3 hands went up. And so these women that are already so very, very challenged with all of the requirements of taking care of a wounded warrior, in addition to that, are dealing with autism. And I could hardly believe that they could manage.
What's the secret to getting through it day by day? Is it that, taking a day-to-day approach, and are there support systems out there that can help these parents and these families?
Both of those things, Brad,
Yeah.
very, very much so. And the other thing that I personally am very, very convinced of is that if you can have a connection with not only the community of autism, and you can have a connection with your community knowing what's going on and what's available there, but you can be connected with a community of faith, you also have a very strong foundation with which to cope with all of the many challenges you face. And there are such wonderful programs available. They're out there, and I can't name them all right now, but
they're there.
They're there.
Tell me about your scarf. Every time I look at the monitor,
Yeah.
it pops off the screen. That'd be a
Isn't
wonderful
this-
tie for an anchor man.
Wouldn't it
Where'd you get
be?
that and its significance?
Well, my daughter gave me this, and this is a scarf that was designed by an artist for the Autism Society of America, and they use it as a fundraiser, selling the scarves. And it goes with my necklace
Love the
that
necklace.
Millie made for me. And I love it. And of course, these are all the colors of autism that I also found, in the pen. And it really just signifies the diversity and the uniqueness of every single child with autism, because none of them are ever the same.
Does Millie know what you've done for her, what you've written, your speeches? Does she know?
She doesn't know that I speak and that I'm an advocate for autism, but she does know about this book, and she likes it very much.
She does?
So that makes me very happy.
Does she echo parts of it when
Yes,
you read
she
it?
does. One time she said to me, I think her mom had told her that when I wrote the book I was thinking about her, and she said to me, Millie, white squirrel? So maybe there's a little connect there that she understands.
How is the group home working out for Millie? How old was she when you moved her?
She was only 9 years old when she moved into the group home. And actually, she was younger than that. I'm sorry, she was 7 when she moved into the group home. But that was because, you see, Brad, she really was a danger to herself and to others. We had a very, very scary incident where she was playing horsey with her younger brother and put a rope around his neck. And luckily, my daughter was there and was able to get to Hunter before he died. He was blue when she got to him. And Millie had no idea. I mean, she had absolutely no idea that she was harming him. And so it was just fun, we're just playing horsey, and that was kind of the straw. And then we found the home for her to be placed in, and it was very, very hard to separate her from her family. But she gets care there that's around the clock, 7 days a week. And it's just, her autism just was bigger than anyone in our family. We just couldn't take care of her anymore.
Well, I bring it up, and admittedly, it is an extremely personal subject, personal for the Hunt family and personal for any family going through it. But your story of that transition from her residence, if you will, to the group home setting has caught the attention of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series people. And so once again, you're getting the voice out there. Tell me how they picked up on it and how that made it into answered prayers.
Well, I was asked by Leanne Thyman if I would submit something, and I did, and I submitted the story of Millie's transition and how we sought that and how very close we were to not making it. And how it was Senator Strom Thurmond's staff that ultimately kind of cut through all the red tape and got us the appointments that we needed very quickly. And so it was our state senator that really helped in the end. However, the story of Millie's moving into the residence is called Care Plan. And it's an answer to prayer. It's in this Chicken Soup for Answered Prayers. And that's what it was, an answer to prayer. And we just are very, very fortunate. There are so many people on the spectrum that need housing, need a residence, and they're not available. And the other thing we were talking about was this tsunami of adults who are going to be entering.
That's right, it's not kids.
No.
Don't just picture children.
No, they're growing up. Millie's 19 now, and we need places for these adults to learn a vocation, to be able to find housing for them. Someday I'm going to die, and Millie's mother is going to die, and the longevity of people with autism seems to be progressing to a place where they're going to be adults who are going to be without their parents and without their grandparents, and we need to provide a way for them to care for themselves.
Well, it's all about awareness, or at least it starts there, and you're the real deal when it comes to that, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this.
How did you get to be so strong? Have you always been that way, or did you decide to be strong when Millie was little?
I think, Brad, that's a question that goes back to being a military wife. And early on, I knew that there's two ways to go. You can either move forward and learn and grow, or you can get stuck and never bloom where you're planted. And I just chose to do the other. And I'm very thankful for the people that I've had in my life that have taught me that.
We need to do a whole another broadcast on your approach to change and how people can deal with it. I think people will be fascinated with that.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing, but it can be done.
Well, we appreciate you, Penny, so much.
I appreciate you, Brad, and all you do for our community.
Yes, ma'am. There's a lot more information about Penny Hunt at MissPenny'sPlace.com. Marlena put that on the screen for you during the interview, and we'll be happy to provide that again if you want to get in touch with us. And Penny, you're awesome. Have a safe trip back to the big city.
Oh, back to Trenton.
We love Trenton. Love it.
Come have some peaches with us.
Anytime we will. When we come back, we're going to talk about Augusta's brand new technical career magnet school. And Penny, don't you try to leave me yet. Don't you try to leave me yet. Penny was trying to roll her chair across the Means Report studio. But we will say goodbye to Penny and say hello to the principal of the TCM, if you will, and the Means Report continues in just a moment. Stay with us.